Hey there guys, this is Obsidian Chill, got into the video for you today, and this one I'm going to be taking a look at what is the actual best DPS trinket in the entire game. That's not a clickbait title, unless you're using 4 boos and a utility belt, then you're not going to beat this trinket. I've mentioned this pretty much in every one of my guides and a lot of videos, my pet testing videos. However, now that it is the summer event and now you can actually buy it here, I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't going to tell you guys, if you weren't already aware of it, then to definitely pick it up during this summer seasonal. So after you've gone for a swim, you can run up to the vendor here. You can also get it in the vendor in the watchtower as well. You're going to have to scroll all the way down to the bottom because this is a very old trinket. And at the very bottom, you're going to have Slayer Sunken Rune. That is the DPS one. 246 might. That doesn't really matter. There are some other ones. The tank one was a nice novelty for a while because it taunts and it has 246 defense, which is pretty much I think the only trinket that actually gives defense, but it just doesn't scale well anymore. There's no point. You're much better off running like a 5% health trinket that's going to scale much better now. The healer trinket was nothing to write home about. It's just restoration. The Vit trinket, it's also nice for controlling because it gives power back. Kind of small, but I mean it's something that helps and you can run it because it's a pet, so I always run it when I'm controlling. It gives a little bit of it, also gives some power back, but if you run like a breakout trinket or anything else or a backup or whatever, it's just it's not a necessity as a controller. I've run it in the past because at least it did something, but the most important thing is right here, Slayer Sunken Rune. That is the one we want to buy. There it is right there. And let's jump to the sparring targets to show you why you should be buying this trinket. Okay, so with the Sunken Slayer's Rune, there are 2 damage values that you have to keep in mind. So this is a pure melee trinket. What that means is that all the damage it does, there's no single target damage. Like for example, when you're taking a look at like the Dark Construct Bat or the Shadow Bat, it has attacks that are single target, and then it has AoE attacks. When you think of the boos, if you're using a boo utility belt, boos have no single target attacks, they're all AoE. Same thing with the Summer Event trinket. So if you are within melee range and you pop it, it's going to do this type of damage. And if you're maxed range, it's not going to do that acid spit attack. That's not going to be in range to hit it. And as you can see, that's the damage primarily comes from that acid spit, that multi-hit combo. That's where the additional damage comes from. So if you're at max range, you're not going to get that. So in the preceding test, this is basically an example of what the melee is going to look like, and then I also compare it against the range. So that's why I recommend that you use a different trinket for range, like a Contract Bat, Shadow Bat, whatever. So in that 60 seconds there, it added 8.7k damage per second for a total of 525,109. So I just did 500,000 damage just with that pet just itself in 60 seconds of DPSing. So I can't really show in the 8 targets because the 8 targets are too spread apart. It's not going the damage spread is not going to be beneficial. I'm only going to hit 6 targets. But you know, when you're in a raid and a bunch of hallways or hallway fights, when the tanks group them all together and you summon this trinket, you're looking at some very heavy damage. So let's kind of show you what that 525,000 stacks up against all the other trinkets. Okay, so taking a look at the results here, we do see the clear divide between the Summer Event trinket and the other trinkets. So obviously you've got the 4 times boo at the top, you know, that requires 4 boos and a special utility belt just to summon it, and drops your CR to 304. So, you know, obviously that hits like a small supercharge, there's no denying that. But considering this is just one trinket in the same amount of time, does 525. That's not too bad at all compared to all the others doing in the mid 300s. So you can see that the range damage does drop off significantly because it doesn't do that acid spit because it's not in range. But you wouldn't be using this trinket at range anyway. You'd sub in like a, doesn't matter, Contract Bat or Shadow Bat, doesn't matter. The Seahorse is the lesser of the 3. But that's what you'd be doing there. But, you know, hopefully you guys get out. It's 50 sand dollars. Get that trinket.